We need to talk about USD1 because the Trump family has apparently found a way to turn the presidency and possibly the future of digital payments into a continuing source of private income. USD1 is what's called a stablecoin, and unlike Bitcoin, it isn't supposed to shoot up and down in value. One USD1 is supposed to remain worth $1. Here's how the business makes money. When someone exchanges $1 for one USD1 coin, the company issuing the coin keeps the actual dollar, or an equivalent safe asset, in reserve. That reserve can be invested in things like short-term U.S. Treasury securities and government money market funds. Those investments earn interest. But the person holding the USD1 generally doesn't receive that interest. The issuer keeps it. USD1 is issued by World Liberty Financial, the crypto company partially owned by the Trump family. So the more USD1 coins that remain in circulation, the more interest-earning assets the company can hold. And the more money the business can potentially make. For example, if 4 billion USD1 coins are circulating, that means the company may be managing roughly $4 billion in reserves. Even a relatively modest interest rate on that amount can produce tens or potentially hundreds of millions of dollars over time. This is why people are saying the Trump family could profit from USD1 indefinitely. It isn't literally guaranteed in perpetuity, but as long as USD1 remains in circulation, its reserves earn money, and the Trump family retains its financial interest, this revenue stream could continue. And it gets worse. On August 14, 2026, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, an agency inside the Trump administration, gave preliminary conditional approval for World Liberty Trust Company to become a national trust bank. And this isn't a regular bank where you deposit your Social Security check or take out a mortgage. It would be a federally chartered trust bank authorized to issue and redeem USD1, manage the reserves supporting it, and provide cryptocurrency custody services nationwide. So to put this plainly, Trump signed the law establishing the federal regulatory system for stablecoins. An agency controlled by his administration conditionally approved a bank affiliated with his family's cryptocurrency business. And his family's business can profit from the interest earned on the money backing the stablecoin. Sit with that. If USD1 eventually becomes widely used by companies, foreign investors, cryptocurrency exchanges, or payment systems, the reserves and the potential profits could become enormous. Now let's talk about the Supreme Court, because I've seen people say the court specifically approved this, and it didn't. There's no Supreme Court decision saying Trump is allowed to own a stablecoin company or profit from USD1. What the Supreme Court has done is helped create an environment in which holding a president accountable for something like this is extraordinarily difficult. First, the court dismissed Trump's earlier emoluments clause cases after he left office in 2021. It didn't rule that his conduct was constitutional, but by vacating those cases, the court left major questions unanswered, including who has the right to sue a president for accepting financial benefits and what a court can actually do about it. Then in 2024, the court ruled that presidents have broad criminal immunity for official acts. Trump's private business dealings are not automatically protected by presidential immunity. But imagine that someone puts millions or billions of dollars into USD1 and later receives a pardon, a regulatory decision, a government contract, or favorable foreign policy. To prove bribery, prosecutors would need to connect the money to a specific government action. But the Supreme Court's immunity ruling could prevent prosecutors from examining Trump's motives for certain official actions or using some protected presidential conduct as evidence. In other words, prosecutors might be able to investigate the private payment while being restricted from fully examining the official favor allegedly given in return. And there's another enormous loophole that Congress has refused to close. The president and vice president are not covered by the main federal criminal conflict of interest law that applies to other executive branch employees. Presidents have traditionally dealt with this by divesting their businesses or using a genuinely independent blind trust. Trump hasn't done that. Having his adult children manage the business does not eliminate his financial interest in it. Now, none of this proves that every person buying USD1 is bribing Trump. It does not prove that a specific government favor has already been sold. But it creates an extraordinary avenue for corporations, billionaires, and foreign interests to put money into a business connected to the sitting president, possibly without the public knowing who is ultimately behind the transaction. That's the danger. The Trump family doesn't need USD1 to increase in price. It needs people and institutions to keep using it and leaving billions of dollars in circulation. The customers hold the digital coins. The company holds the interest-earning reserves. And the president's family benefits from the company. That may not fit neatly into America's deliberately weakened corruption laws, but calling it anything other than a massive and unprecedented conflict of interest is insulting our intelligence.